Today we're talking about what you guys need to know before moving to Boise, Idaho and the surrounding areas in 2026. Here's the top 10 list. Let's dive into it. All right, guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're at the Boise Capitol here in Boise, Idaho. Now, for those of you guys that are new here or haven't been here before or are returning, thank you for being here. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe. Today we're going to be starting off talking about lifestyle and outdoor living as number one. Now, when we're talking about outdoor and lifestyle living, that is probably the main reason why so many people are moving here, just because they really appreciate, one, that you have 4-season weather, so you can do things like snowboard, you can do things like go boating, you can go fishing. My girlfriend, who everyone doesn't believe me when I say it, loves to go fish. They absolutely love to fish as well, and she's the one that's always trying to get me out the house, stop working so damn much, stop making your content, go enjoy life a little bit. But with that being said, she just loves fishing, and that's just really what attracts a lot of people here. They want to go out, have a great time. Not a lot of homebodies here, truth be told. Even downtown, if you were to turn around here, you're going to see you have really nice buildings. Downtown is such a great place. For those of you that maybe love the city life still, but aren't too outdoorsy, you do still have a supplemental downtown, right? It's not like Los Angeles, San Diego, or Denver, Colorado, right? You're not gonna have the big downtown like that, but you do have something pretty damn close, right? So here's the thing. You have 300 days roughly a year that is sunny, kind of like this. It does start to get colder in the wintertime, so you can get the snow, you do get the experience. I like to go up to Bogus Basin, which is a super popular mountain. For those of you guys that like to snowboard or ski, or even if you have kids that like to sled down, that's a really great spot. Now, in addition to that, you're also gonna have a ton of local activities. I'm talking about farmers markets, you're going to have rafting, you're going to have hunting for those of you that are into hunting, and gun laws here in Idaho are a lot more relaxed. So just as a FYI, if you're someone that likes to carry or whatever the case is, you do have the opportunity here. And then you have a ton of events all year long. The thing that Boise is the most known for is some of the coolest events, from the potato drop for New Year's. Yes, they drop a literal potato for New Year's, by the way. And they have so many different things that they do. I think one of my favorites is probably when they bring in all the hot air balloons and they have a huge event around that, and all the vendors and all the food. There's a lot of food places here. And mind you, if you guys are into food, one thing you'll really love or appreciate is if you're on TikTok, you can follow me on TikTok at Idaho Realtor Nas. We show you guys all the best places to eat, all the best parks, it's on the short form side of things, right? This is a longer form video. Check out this area and show you the food and all that fun stuff. So check us out there. And guys, just so you do know, I'm not a food reviewer, I'm not a full-time YouTuber, I'm actually a real estate agent. So as much as I love making these videos for you guys, I would also love to help you with your home buying needs here in Idaho. So you'll see my cell phone as well as my email pop up. But let's get back to the content. Now, here's the thing, guys. Boise doesn't look like just this. This is literally just a small part of the town itself. The rest of it is, you're gonna see a lot of farm fields, you're gonna see a lot of houses, you're gonna see a lot of commercial buildings. Now, here's the thing. Another thing that we're gonna talk about in the future is gonna be the development side of things. But for the most part, just the feeling of being able to go outside, enjoy a good time. You see all these people walking around, biking around. This is the normal thing. Boise is also one of the fittest cities in the entire country, believe it or not. And there's multiple years in a row where they have been considered in the top 10 fittest cities to live. So that's probably due to the fact that everyone's out, everyone's walking, everyone's going with their dog or going in the mountains and hiking and all that fun stuff. Let's move on to the next bullet point, which is going to be number 2. Now, the number 2 thing we're going to be talking about is cost of living. A lot of people always ask me, hey, I mean, we've heard that housing has gotten more expensive in Boise and some of the surrounding areas, which is 100% true. It did get more expensive from 2009. 2019, yes. However, in the last couple of years, we have seen that house prices have dropped about 5%, just because the market has slowed down. Even across the country, we've seen it, as far as transaction-wise, start to slow down quite a bit. Now, here's the good news. A lot of people are saying, oh, the housing market is gonna crash, and then a lot of people are saying that the housing market is gonna boom. Truth is, no one has a crystal ball, but here's what we do know. As far as housing goes, Idaho does remain still somewhat affordable. It is about 2% above the national average as far as housing costs, but that also is just specifically the Boise area. If you start expanding away from Boise, the further away you get from downtown is what I like to say, you typically start to see house prices do get a little cheaper, unless you're looking in Eagle, Idaho, which is one of the suburbs of Boise. That's where you see prices start to skyrocket, because the main price point as far as Boise goes is gonna be around that $500,000 to $600,000. However, Eagle jumps up to the $900,000 median price point. So when we're talking Boise, you're going to be around that $500,000-600,000 range. And then when you're getting to Meridian, Nampa, Caldwell, some of those areas, you'll start to see 500 to even lower 400s, even 300s potentially. Just kind of depends on what you're looking for, what's important to you. Now, here's the thing with that. If you are coming from Oregon or Washington or California, you're going to see there's a huge savings as far as groceries and things of that nature, from anywhere between 30% to 45% cheaper. We were awkwardly standing at the post, so we just decided to move, just as a quick note. But getting back to it, you are going to notice a 30 to 45% difference or cheaper lifestyle as far as utilities, groceries, in comparison to some of those states. So for a lot of people moving from there to Idaho, it just feels like you're almost pretty much stealing. Now, the downside to that is wages are not going to be significantly better in the area. You're going to notice that as far as job pay and things of that nature, it is still on the lower end. And that's probably the biggest complaint for a lot of the locals here, is that the pay isn't matching necessarily the cost of living here anymore. So for those people that are coming from out of state, it's a lot more affordable. For those that are coming from a state like the ones that I listed, it becomes significantly more affordable because they know what it costs at those states. So with that being said, another big savings or another big point for a lot of folks is going to be property taxes. Property taxes in Idaho are ranging around 0.65% on average. And in addition to that, for those of you guys that are purchasing a primary home in Idaho, they have something which is a homeowner's exemption. This homeowner exemption basically allows you, and I'm just going to use simple numbers for this example. Let's just say you purchase a house at $725,000 and you are going to live in it as a primary residence, and it appraises for $725,000. And if you don't understand that, just let me know. Would love to help you guys. Feel free to comment and I'll explain it further. But basically what they'll do is, since it is your primary residence, they won't appraise you on $125,000 of that value. So they'll only tax you on $600,000 instead of the $725,000 it was appraised for. So it's just a big break on the tax side of things. Obviously, the lower in price point you go, the better it'll, or the more effectively, or more, I guess, the smaller the gap is as far as you feeling it. Of course, if you drop to $425,000, you're gonna feel it a lot more than someone would at $725,000. But just for reference, you guys kind of understand there's a lot of ways to save money. In addition to that, just reach out to me if you guys would like more information. But with that being said, they also have different exemptions for senior citizens and et cetera, but I don't want to dive too much into that. Just know cost of living in Idaho, depending on where you come from, may be significantly cheaper. And in addition to that, make you feel like you're making a lot more money, especially for people who were moving here that have a remote job, for example. So maybe they have a home station in Denver, Colorado, where they're making a lot more money. They were moving here and they felt like they could afford so much more house, so much more groceries, so much more ability to do what they really want in the area without feeling like their house broke or anything of that nature. So with that being said, that takes us to our next point, which is the housing market and home ownership. Now, one thing about Idaho right now is we have a lot more inventory since we're in the fourth quarter of the year, but come 2026, that could change, right? We could start seeing a lot more buyers in the springtime, which is usually when a lot of folks are moving or prepping to move because school is ending, or they're just wanting to move before the summer, whatever the case may be. That's when we start to see a lot more inventory coming off and a lot more activity in the market. They are also assuming, because we've had 3 years of slower transactions or less transactions throughout the country, that there could be a potential big boom next year in 2026. So something to just plan for, more because we just want to prep you guys. But you're going to see tons of new construction. You're going to see tons of homes that maybe they were in situations where maybe they're divorced, or maybe they are looking to expand because they had more kids come to the family, but interest rates just haven't been where they want them to be. And with interest rates being cut back to back to back, it could offer a lot more opportunity for those people who have been needing to upgrade or even downgrade, but want some affordability as far as the interest rate side, to be able to afford those homes now. So that is what I would expect as far as housing market and home ownership in 2026. Make sure you guys pay attention to that. More than happy to keep you guys in the loop, or once again, reach out to me so I can help you. But local tip for you guys is going to be, new construction right now is going to be significantly cheaper by $30,000 to $40,000 on average here in the area in comparison to resale homes. Now, that may not be the case if the market does start to pick up. They may start reducing their promotions. They may start bumping up prices again. But if they do that, just know that as of right now, new construction is the way to go. Resale homes may be the way to go in the future. So let's dive into the next point. Now, the next point is going to be safety and the community feel here. Now, guys, let me tell you this. I come from Wichita, Kansas. I've also lived in California. I've also lived in Texas. I've also been overseas multiple times. And as far as the people here in the general area, they are super nice. Now, here's the thing. Locals do hate, I don't want to say hate, that's a strong word, but they are frustrated with the fact that a lot of people are relocating here because it's not feeling like the same Idaho that was all fields and affordable and things of that nature. But I will say this, they're still super respectful. I don't get any types of nervousness or feel unsafe anywhere, or you know, there's nowhere that I really feel like I can't keep my doors unlocked and I feel like I can't or have to worry, or even my garage door, for example. I tell this story a lot on my YouTube video when we're talking about it. But for example, with my garage door, I have left it open, and I say this multiple times, not because I'm bragging about it, but more so because I want you guys to get a feel of what it really is like to live here. I've lived in Mountain Home in Idaho, and I've also lived in Meridian, which is one of the suburbs of Boise, and it's where we currently live. Love Meridian, by the way, but it's just something that it's personally where I just wanted to live and lay the land and all that fun stuff and grow. But getting back to it, I would leave my garage door open unintentionally for like 7 days in a row. I don't know why, I just do it every year for some reason. If you're a robber watching this, maybe you'll catch me during that time of the year. Maybe you can start plotting now. But regardless, what I'm getting at is I would leave it unintentionally open for like multiple days straight, and then I would just completely forget, and then guess what, guys? Nothing happens. My garage is fine. Nothing's been taken. Nothing's been replaced. I get texts from my neighbors to close my garage door, and I still forget to do it. But it's just one of those things that I get really bad about, but I've never had to worry because no matter where we've lived, we've been okay. Now, as far as the community feel, I know I kind of hit on this earlier, but you do have your farmer markets. You do have your events throughout the year. You're going to see a lot of the same people. My people are the people that play football. We have a tackle league that I participate in. Super fun. That's the Idaho Contact Football League, if you guys are interested in that. They also have co-ed leagues, like sports leagues. So the Treasure Valley Sports League, they do basketball. I take that back. They may not do basketball. They definitely do flag football. That's the one I do play in. They do dodgeball. They do softball, I believe, as well. And they just have a really good time. So that's super fun if you guys are into the outdoor world. But those are usually the circles you'll catch me around, or other real estate agents, of course. But for the most part, that's kind of like how I tell people, you just kind of got to find your circle. Usually if you go on Facebook, you can find a ton of Facebook groups. And I'm talking about Facebook groups for Dungeons and Dragons, Facebook groups for, there's that old medieval Larkin, I think. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. I can't think of the word, but I think it's Larking or something of that nature, where you guys have the medieval stuff on and you're like stabbing each other and stuff with a, not actually stabbing, you know where I'm going with this. But anyways, you have all different types of communities regardless of what you're interested in, and you can just find it on Facebook. And speaking of Facebook groups, we do have some Facebook groups. If you guys check the video description below, you'll actually see a ton of resources we have, from relocation guides to buyer guides to even just our Facebook groups that we have that you guys can join, or my TikTok and all that fun stuff. Check it out in the video description. But getting back to it, regardless of the community that you feel like you belong to or hobbies you're interested in, you probably can find it if you just go do a quick search on the internet and find your folks. Now, the next point we want to talk about, this is probably super important for a lot of you guys relocating this way, is going to be job market and economic growth. Now, when we're talking about the job market, we are talking about technology fields. Now, when we're talking about the job market out here, and what's very popular is going to be technology, medical, and then also something really big right now is construction and healthcare. The big job markets out here, or at least the big fields, I should say, is going to be the following. You have tech, which is your Micron, HP, and you have a couple other tech companies out here as well. Then you have healthcare like St. Luke's, St. Alphonsus. I always butcher that one. And then you also have manufacturing, you have construction, and then education, right? Boise State University is huge out here. Ever since Ashton Genty was here, everyone loves him. Too bad the football team isn't the same without him. It's just the truth. Don't kill me, but you know, comment your thoughts there if you want to. But with that being said, those are kind of the bigger job fields out here. Now, of course, there is retail. There is a ton of opportunity for mom and pop shops. There's also a bunch of franchises coming out here. For example, the one I always talk about is In-N-Out or Shields. Shields is like Dick's on steroids. Dick's Sporting Goods, to be more specific for maturity reasons. Then you also have tons of other just franchises like Raising Cane's, for example, another food one that's just coming. I know I'm personally excited about it. I used to. You put some Raising Cane's in front of me, it's gonna be a problem, all right? But you also just have a ton of local mom and pop shops. One of our favorite soup shops that we like to go to, Soup Kettle Grill, here in Meridian, Idaho. They have a great just little mom and pop shop, and they're getting ready to start expanding. So you have all these places that are just doing really well. So for those of you that are entrepreneurs, or maybe just business owners, or just looking for jobs, the good news is it's growing. There's so much opportunity, which is going to take us to the next thing, which is going to be development. Development and future growth wise, right now, Boise is currently doing a $700 million expansion for the airport, and that's just going to allow for a lot more international flights. It's going to now allow for parking garages. There's more terminals. There's going to be just a long-term infrastructure improvement. In addition to that, they're also making sure that the roads are becoming more sufficed. They got new highways that are being built. They have all types of things going on to make sure that Boise and the surrounding areas can sustain the growth of what is to come in the future. As far as the growth, you're probably looking at like an almost 85% growth from 2000, the year 2000 till now. So with an 82 to 85% growth, you're talking about almost double where we were at once upon a time. Boise right now is about, I want to say 250,000 people population wise is kind of where we're inching. I think we might have even exceeded that recently. So I'm assuming 2026 they'll come out with numbers. We're probably going to be over 250,000 people currently living in this city specifically. In addition to that, Boise in the downtown area, you're not going to really be able to see it because this area is a little more established, but construction is all over the place behind these buildings. There's more buildings. They're talking about building the largest skyscraper in Boise right now. It's not like we actually have huge ones right now, but they are building those as well. In addition to that, they are just pushing more west and south to where there's a lot more farm fields and things, which is, once again, part of the reason why a lot of locals are frustrated, because we're taking away the land that it used to be. One more thing that you can also start to see is going to be schools, hospitals, recreational areas, and commercial buildings. Just more retail buildings, more things to enjoy as far as entertainment and etc. So enough talking about development and future growth and all that. Just know there's a lot coming here, and a lot of people are excited like myself, and some people may not sit right with them, but rightfully so. I understand where they're coming from as well. Now, the next point we're going to be talking about is education and schools. Education and school wise, there are great schools around here. I know that's a big concern for a lot of people, but as far as the different types of schools, you have public schools, you have charter schools, you have private schools, and something really common here is homeschooling. A lot of people just feel like, you know, with what's going on in the world, some things may not resonate with how they believe or how they truly feel like their core values are, and due to that, some of them are just teaching their own kids. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's great. Grant Cardone does it. If you guys are familiar with Grant Cardone, kid's a freaking genius. His daughter, oh my God, there's a squirrel that like just ran across the field that's like staring at me right now. I think he just flipped me off. Look at that squirrel. Point at the squirrel. You can't zoom in.
It's staring at you.
I know, he stared at me. I'm over here recording content. He's like, stop telling people to move here. I'm just joking. All right, guys, we like to have fun and joke around a lot. This is, by the way, this is what you can expect working with me. We like to have a good time. All right. What the hell? Oh, that's somebody's dog.
That was fast.
Dude, I thought that was somebody's dog that was just free. Babe, that's someone's dog. Stop it. I gotta make my video. All right, now as far as district-wise, Boise and Meridian in the suburbs, they typically have some of the best school districts in the state. So you're going to see that they typically rank the highest as far as sports, as far as athletics, as far as academics, and then just some of the programs they offer. A lot of people really love it. I will say a lot of our clients that have been reaching out have been asking me more information about the West Ada County School District. So that's gonna be the area of Meridian, Northwest Boise, South Eagle, just like a little trifecta area there. But a lot of people have been asking about that for those of you with children. So that's probably the most popular one for a lot of people moving this way. So that is going to be more so on the school districts for high schools, middle schools, elementary, and preschools, right? So another big school that you guys already know about is Boise State. That is what we are most known for out here. Super vibrant college town here. A lot of people will be at the games during the Saturday night games. You can hear the whole freaking stadium rumbling, and it's just such a cool thing. And if you haven't been to a game, or if you would like to go to a game, highly recommend it. I've personally been to a couple. I usually go to the one where Boise and the Air Force play each other. Air Force usually gets their butts beat, but it's all good. I'm just I appreciate football. And speaking of football, we actually just checked out our first 49ers game ever. I am a 49ers fan, so bang, bang, Niner gang. If you don't like the 49ers, you better not be commenting down below. Or at least you better be telling me what team you are. You can't talk crap on the 49ers right now. No quarterback, we're doing our thing. Anyways, I'm passionate about the football. Getting back to it, the cool thing about Idaho, they do like to give you school choice. So charter and magnet school options are existent here, and you do have the ability to get into those. But if you would like more information, just let me know so I can put you guys in the right direction. But we won't go too much deeper into that, but just know school and education wise, we don't rank the best across the country, but that's more so because we don't put a lot of money in comparison to other schools as far as funding goes, but they do get more than enough education. Trust me, is probably a lot better than where I came from. As far as taxes and financial advantages, we've kind of already hit on the property tax side of things, but there are no local income taxes. As far as taxes go, that's for Idaho state income tax. That is going to sit around 5.8 to 6% depending on the years. Sometimes it fluctuates, right? Super competitive in comparison to Oregon or Washington or some of the other neighboring states. And then in addition to that, you also have sales tax that is 6%. And then on top of that, let's just make things a little better. As far as business owners, you do enjoy a pro-business tax bracket. So what I mean by that is they're super supportive of businesses being grown in the local area. So they want people to bring their business here. They want people to be able to take advantage and grow their businesses. And with that, they do have just a very pro back as far as you being able to get into the market and helping you establish growth. Here's my secret, guys. Truthfully, if you really want to have a successful business here, get to know people, invite them to your place, or just put yourself out there on social media. Like myself, you don't have to do YouTube, but just put yourself out there. Your people will find you, right? Like I'm a true believer that a lot of people that want to work with me are going to find me one way or another. I've had people find me here. I've had people find me on TikTok, Facebook, etc., etc. Now, the final bonus that I'll just kind of throw in here, and then we'll move on to the next thing, is going to be vehicle registration. So we literally just registered. I just bought a new car, and I'll just use it for example right now. So I bought a 2021 Mercedes GLE 53, and I think for the 2 years I paid $300 tops. And that's for 2 years of registration, not one. Now, I lived in California partially for a couple of years, and when I lived there, I remember when I would register my car for the year, that's exactly what I think I paid, even $350, $400 for registration for the year. So compared to wherever you may be coming from, that may be cheaper unless you're from Montana, of course. Idaho registration and things of that nature are going to be significantly cheaper as well. Now, the next thing is going to be weather, climate, and seasons. I've kind of hit on this already. Some people love this, some people hate this. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. You have the 4-season weather. So summertime, you're going to have a really nice summer. Sometimes it may reach the triple digits, so you may get 100, but usually it fluctuates between 70 degrees to 90 degrees, maybe 93 every now and then. So it does get warm. Now, fall time, you do start to see that nice cool breeze, kind of like right now, we're kind of getting in that weird mix of morning time, we have the heater blasting, and then in the evening, you have your AC blasting because it's a little warmer in the day. So you have cold mornings, warmer evenings, and then in the winter, of course, you have the cold. Sometimes it rains, sometimes you have ice, sometimes you have snow. Now, a lot of people ask me, oh, how bad is the snow? Last year, we literally had 1 week where it snowed, and it wasn't even on Christmas, unfortunately. So we had a bare, naked, no white Christmas, right? The year before that, we did have a white Christmas. I think it snowed for like a month, and then the year before that, we had even more snow, but the year before that, we had no snow. So it just kind of fluctuates. You never know what you're going to get. So to give you just a little bit of reference, the average snowfall a year in the Boise and surrounding areas is around 18 inches, but it's not going to be all at once, so you don't have to worry. If it is all at once, you better go up the mountains because you probably got a really good snow day and you better enjoy it. Now, something else to take into consideration that I want to throw in there as far as seasonal changes during the summer, I almost forgot to mention. Now, during the summer, something that you should plan for is sometimes we do have wildfires in the area, right? With that, sometimes the air quality is going to change, and that could cause problems for you. Maybe if you guys have asthma or things of that nature. And also during the spring, we do have if you have allergies, you do have a pretty good swift kick of pollen that's going to come in, which could make it a little harder. So just some things to take care of. If you have seasonal allergies, you will probably get a dose of that throughout the year. So please, please, please be considerate of that as well. All right, now this is the final thing. I was gonna make it one tip, but I just wanna go through the pros, cons, and just pretty much wrap up everything we've discussed. So pro-wise, strong community, amazing community. I mean, low crime, active lifestyle, right? In addition to that, you have growing economy, great job market that is booming, and tons of expansion coming to the area. Economy-wise, you have a good balance of affordability, and I know housing is a little more than the average, but it's not too far off, and it's still a really great time, and hopefully into 2026 that doesn't change, but if it does, it's going to be great for those of you that are getting in before the big next boom or whatever happens in the future. Another thing is you do still have the smaller city feel with all the amenities and without the traffic. For now, that may change in the future. Downside is rapid growth is a true thing. There are tons of people moving this way and tons of people love it, and it's only going to attract more people, which will cause traffic down the line. You have infrastructure playing catch up in a sense, right? We don't have the infrastructure to necessarily support the rapid growth we have, but that'll change over time as they are currently working on it. Limited nightlife. The reason why I say limited nightlife is going to be, the reason why I say there's a limited nightlife is because the real nightlife that you have is downtown Boise. That's really all you got. Outside of that, there's not a lot of clubs or bars, or I mean, you will find bars here and there around, you know, different corners, but for the most part, it's all downtown. And then finally, you do have that seasonal smoke that we kind of talked about, and seasonal allergies that may hit you a little harder depending on if those things affect you or not. With that being said, I threw a lot at you guys, and I know you guys may have more questions or may need to reach out or feel like you don't know if you should reach out, you 100% should. And if you would like to, what we can do, we can schedule a 15-minute Zoom call. Or once again, guys, I am a licensed real estate agent here in the Boise and surrounding areas. So regardless of where you're looking, I may be able to help you or at least connect you with someone that can, if I don't personally. Call me, text me, email me, let me know what your current situation is. The more information you can provide me, the more I know how to help you. And if you didn't already, press the subscribe button at the bottom of the screen and press the bell at the top of the screen if you would like to be notified when we make more amazing videos like this. I love you guys. See you guys on the next one.